I might get in trouble for this. Like, I legitimately might go to the back and they'd be like, what in the world was that? You're fired. I'm like, ah.
Matt Aguilar here from ComicBook.com, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to WWE Superstar Valhalla. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. I'm fantastic.
And it's a cool day because of course we're gonna talk about what's going on in WWE and wrestling, but you've also adding author to the resume under your real name, Sarah Rowe. It's a congratulations, number one. It's
Mhm.
a children's book, which is always close to my heart. I've got a little girl, so
Oh,
everything kids all the time, right? It's awesome.
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the book and kind of how long the idea has kind of been waiting to get published for you?
So I wrote the book like 2 years ago. So it's been like we
Oh
just
wow.
had an idea for the book. Gnome Road Publishing like picked it up. Like I had the idea, they picked it up, and then we brainstormed together. And then Amanda Morrow, the illustrator who did a adorable job, came in a
So
little
cute.
later, and she had to make the book come to life, and she did beautifully. And the book is about two twins, Leo and Finley, and they wake up and have breakfast with their mom. And they start kind of talking about where the breakfast is from and what's their favorite part. And the mom's like, well, this breakfast didn't just get here by itself. Like, let's go do chores. So the kids go around the farm, they do chores, and they're talking about where each thing came from. They have a run in with a rooster, and they get splashed in the mud by a pig. And while they're on their adventure, kind of going around and doing chores, they're like, why don't we make dinner tonight? Why don't we gather ingredients from the farm to make dinner for our parents? So they go around the farm, get all the things they need for a shepherd's pie, and they use venison that their mom harvested during hunting season, and they go in and cook it, and they are so tired they can barely from their day of work they can barely finish their dinner. But it is a cute book about farming, sustainable living, stewardship of the land, animals, cooking. It is a the book I wanted to read to Cash when he was starting to read books. So it I couldn't find a book that was about farming the way I farmed. Like we do, regenerative agriculture, and we're very sustainable, and we try to get back to the land and have a positive carbon footprint and yada yada. And we only raise food for us, so we don't have a production farm. We just have a farm for us. So that's why I wanted to write this book, was to hopefully write a book that children can understand where their food came from, that parents can explain it to their kids in a simple way that kind of encourages everyone to find a local farmer or to raise some chickens or to get some meat rabbits or even grow herbs in their windowsill. And it's sustainable farming, and growing your own food is a lot closer and more realistic than a lot of people think.
Right. And it's also one of those conversations I feel like every parent, has to like have with their
Yeah.
kid at some point. And it's always at the like oddest times, right? They point it out in the car, like on the way home,
Yeah.
like, oh hey, where does this come from? And then you're like, I'm not prepared.
Yeah, it's
For
it's
that.
it's a hard conversation to have. Like, how can you explain to something that just loves everything that like there is a weight behind our food, and there is I think Cash is gonna have a little different understanding of it because he just sees it so much. But I think it's so important to let kids see that it's not just a death. It is a sacrifice. It is a worthy, beautiful sacrifice. And it I know to get Cash to eat something that he won't eat, if I show him where it comes from and he works to get that food and I involve him in getting that food, he 9 out of 10 will eat it. So it's a passion very close to my heart. It's something that I struggle with as a parent, and I wanted to talk with my kid with as a parent. And I'm like, I'm sure other parents would, hopefully other parents will like this and want to have these conversations too. So that's why I wrote the book.
Yeah, I feel like that's where some of the, golden ideas come from when it comes to parenting of like when you feel like you're so alone in something, you're like, why isn't there
Yeah.
a resource for this? And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll
Someone
just go
help
ahead
me.
and make that. Yeah. And then it like comes
Yeah.
out, they come out of the woodwork. It's like, 90 parents go, oh my God, been wanting something like this forever, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping this book sheds light on that, sheds light and gives resources. Like there's even on gnomeroadpublishing.com, there is a educator resource where it has a paper, and it's kind of a worksheet that gives you games and things you can do with your kid to use things talked about in the book to like apply them to, homeschooling or just
Oh,
parenting
awesome.
your kid and trying to get them, more involved in this world. And like local farms are so great if you want to like, I know if someone wrote me and was like, "Hey, could I bring my kid to shop?" I'd be like, "Absolutely, I would love you to bring your kid." So
Right.
it's definitely more obtainable than a lot of people realize. It just takes a little footwork.
Yeah, and of course, you're when you're doing a children's book, it's also so important to catch their eye visually. And I gotta say, I mean, you mentioned it, but the artwork is just
So cute.
is awesome. It's as precious and like it's such a
Yeah.
cool style. How did you land on? Is it Amanda that
Yeah,
does the
Amanda
artwork?
Morrow. So the children's book world is very, I mean, it's been thriving ever before I even touched it, right? So Gnome Road Publishing really, there's a girl named Sandra there who really helped me get into the world and kind of know people that can produce the book and know people. I think Baker and Taylor Publishing Services are actually the ones like getting the book out, and they had so many resources that I could kind of tap into. Like I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just wrote this book. Please help me. So Amanda came through Gnome Road Publishing, and I mean, her things are so adorable. And on the educator resource page, you can actually print out coloring sheets of things from the book that Amanda has
Oh,
illustrated.
awesome.
So those are super cute, and I will be using lots of those.
Yeah, number one, I'm a huge fan of gnomes, so Gnome Road Publishing. Once I saw that as well, I was like, oh my God, I love gnomes. But yeah, Amanda did such a great job, and it's
Yeah,
just it's so cute and one of the things too, I love that they're working in activities because that's so I feel like you mentioned it before, like having them do something with you is so important and sometimes it's like the stress of the day, it takes a little longer, it takes more
yeah,
effort. You might have to go through a couple tries to like get it right, but like number one, that memory stands the test of time and they'll always
yeah.
have it. And two, it really does make a difference in like how they view that and whatever you were doing. They just, I don't know, it just retains in a different way.
I love saying more is caught than taught. So there's only so much you can like tell your kids, especially like Cash. He just turned 3, and he's not verbally where a lot of other 3-year olds are. So like a lot, 95% of the things that Cash does is what we have shown him. And
Mm,
what like and the words he does speak are not words that I've like tried to teach him. It's just words that he's picked up along the
picked up.
way, that he's caught from us, not been taught by us. So it's like a very great reminder, like the kids are freaking watching you, all the time, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
They see your best and your worst moments. So like it warms my heart so much every time like I have a Kindle, but I love to read, but I try to read books around him because I'm sure when he sees me looking at my Kindle, it's just like I'm looking at another screen. But love the times where like if I'm reading a book, he'll go grab a book and sit next to me and just start flipping through it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is everything I ever wanted. But but yeah, I completely agree.
Identifies so much. I completely understand. It's now because you've kind of jumped into the world and, first one's kind of, under the bell. I know it releases in April.
April 2nd, yeah.
Any thoughts to, did you catch a bug a little bit? Would you want to do another one?
Yeah, so I love writing. It's something I do a lot. And it's just, intimidating, you're your own worst critic. And I love reading fantasy books. Like the fantasy genre is something like Joy Abercrombie, Pierce Brown, Brandon Sanderson are like some of my favorite writers. And world building and stuff just blows me away. So like I do plan on writing more children's books. And I'm also dabbling into like my own fantasy stories,
Oh, nice.
which, is along the lines of a Abercrombie, like, battling magic, all the fun stuff. But I just read such good stuff and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to live up to this. But I'm trying. So no, I hope it is not the last thing I publish, or last thing I write. I'm gonna try for more. We'll see if
Yeah,
the
no, huge fan of the genre as well. I tend to be a giant Witcher fan. And
oh
so
I for
anything and
yes.
so anything in that, like anything in those relative realms, I'm
The
always like, I'm
Polish
trying to teach
folklore,
her
yes.
is amazing. I'm trying to teach her signs.
Oh,
She's only
technique.
4,
Yeah.
but I'm like, do your hand like this, like trying to teach her.
See, she has any of
And
the
yeah, she'll get it. She's already a huge wrestling fan. She watched her first premium live event at Elimination Chamber. So I'm already,
awesome.
she's already a fan. Like we're starting the building
Indoctrination
blocks.
is
Yeah,
is
yeah. It
happening.
started early. It started early. And speaking of the wrestling world, I mean, it's taking a step back a little bit. When you returned to WWE, and now that we've got a little time since then, has this run been different for you in any kind of, tangible way? Is there a big difference between this run and the last run just because of kind of where you were in life at that time and now?
Yeah, in so many aspects, where I was in my life, who I am as a person, where I'm at creatively. Like I literally showed up as Valhalla with the antlers and the furs and the paint, and Hunter was like, "Great!" Like so, what you see what you see on TV with our characters and even our promos, like writing a Viking promo is hard. So we write them. Like the writers will be like, we kind of want to talk about this, and we're like, sweet, we got it. So I have found myself in a creative space in WWE that's pretty free, So it has been an amazing journey creatively. I'm paired with my husband, which is amazing. So we bring cash on the road wherever we go, and it has been it has been very fulfilling. And the fact that I have such a beautiful home to come to, like I'm so blessed right now, just with you know, thank God for it every day. But it it's definitely something that I'm trying not to take for granted, and I'm trying to kind of take it as slow as I can, because the wrestling doesn't last forever. So I'm trying to
Right.
take it in and be thankful and appreciative and selfless about it. But I'm definitely in a lot different creative space, obviously, than what I was as Sarah Logan. Like I really didn't like I was confused a lot of times, Sarah Logan. I'm like, am I like a country thing? I was like, that's not really it. Can I do this Viking thing? I can do it, but not a lot. It was just so the fact that I'm just like full send with the Viking stuff has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. And I feel like, you three make such a great, group from in the ring standpoint and also just from a visual standpoint. It just, stands
Yeah.
out from everything. And then also you mentioned it feels freer. It feels like you guys are having fun because, you had such a great moment on Raw recently with Michael Cole and letting him live out his dream. Where did that the idea for that moment come from?
So no, me, Ivar, and the camera guy were the only ones that knew we were doing that. So that was amazing. And it was kind of like the thing that I was like, I might get in trouble for this. Like I legitimately might go to the back and they'd be like, what in the world was that? You're fired. I'm like, ah. But it I knew, like, just hearing Michael Cole talk about the antlers and freak out about the antlers for so long, I was like, I got to do something with this. So I was like, I told Ivar, I was like, I think I'm going to climb on the commentator table and put them on him. He was like, oh, that sounds fantastic. So I did it. And Michael Cole, he wore him the whole match, So
Yeah, yeah.
it was that perfect moment in wrestling where like opportunity, like just meets so well with like timing. And so I hope it does it because I do stuff on the side of the ring that a lot of managers can't get away with. I don't know. No one's told me to stop, so I'm just going to keep doing it. But I do this craziest stuff back there, and no one says anything to me. You might be too scared to say anything to me. I don't know. I climb on the apron. I try to grab the other wrestlers. I'm on the commentary table. I'm taking their headsets off. Like I I don't know how I found myself in this position, but I'm just going to keep riding it out and ask for forgiveness, not permission, is the vibe right now.
Yeah, well, it's working. So I feel like whatever whatever the mixture is, we keep going with that. Yeah, and look, we're in the middle of not even in the middle, we're like on the home stretch of WrestleMania
Yeah.
season. And we're starting to, the card's not, obviously done yet. We still got all kinds of things in flux. But for you, um, because you guys are having so much fun and working so well, as a group. What is the kind of on the bucket list for you guys in 2024? Kind of the remainder here. What is the thing that you just as a, individual superstar, but also as a group, what do you kind of want to check off that list by the end of the year?
I would think it's been kind of like going crazy on Twitter right now that meat mania with like Bronson and Ivar. Like I think that would be that writes itself, right? That's amazing. So I think that would be an amazing, tremendously entertaining thing. Um, and as far as personally, I think doing like a mixed tag with me, Eric, and Ivar with like Damian, Finn, and Rhea would be it'd be a barn burner. It'd be
Yes.
amazing. So I I'm not complaining that I'm not fighting a lot. My body's loving it. I love just going out there and screaming at people and they can't touch me. Like it's been amazing. But there's that part of me that I love to wrestle. I'm a huge wrestling fan. So
Right.
um I remember the first arm drag that Maxine gave me. I thought my body was going to explode. It's been 2.5 years since I'd taken a bump, but I took that arm drag and I was like, oh no, it's not good. This hurts. I forgot how much this hurts. Why does this hurt so much? So I'm definitely not like, I'm not trying to look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, I want to wrestle more when I'm, trying to mom and farm and stuff too. But it would be cool to do that mixed tag. It would be sweet.
No, absolutely. And yeah, I think also was that why there was a little it felt like there was a little English on that after like Maxine being on the outside celebrating and then you just coming in like a cannonball. I feel like there was a little maybe it was just a little bit of that.
I am very naturally inclined to aggression, so it don't take much for me to be like So it's always under the surface. I even do my affection through aggression. It's just very. So does my son, unfortunately. Get a lot of headbutts in this house. Um,
Yeah, a lot of those qualities carry over. My independent streak and my sarcasm have carried over already to this 4-year-old, and I'm not prepared because it's already like, oh my God, you're only 4.
You're
This
like,
is not
aren't
going to
these
go
the
well for me.
consequences of my own actions? Please.
Yeah, and somewhere my mother's laughing. But I know I need to let you go. I appreciate the time immensely. Before we leave, though, with WrestleMania coming up, and we've seen so many iconic entrances. Hall of Fame comes up, so you always start to think of some of the best of all time. What's your favorite all-time wrestling entrance?
Oh, my favorite all-time wrestling entrance. I was there when The Undertaker did his last entrance, which was in Orlando, which was amazing. Um, I love a good Stone Cold entrance. There's just so many. It's just like you would hope that like, especially me in my professional career, like you would hope that like that would happen. Like imagine like if WrestleMania is in like I don't know, like Minnesota or something. Like if like we're doing the Vikings in the place where the Viking like take a stinking long ship to the ring. I don't know, but I do love
That would be awesome.
I do love an Undertaker entrance. I like the fact that he's just so secure in himself that he's like, "You'll wait for me to walk down there," because you know we all will. I know it takes 12 years. We're all just like, "This is awesome," and he's literally just walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
You did
flaw.
definitely
I
Roman
respect
is
that.
following in those footsteps as well.
Yes.
Yes. I
You're like,
thank you
I
so
hate
much.
this, but I will watch. I will watch
Oh
from now
yeah, and
on.
I bought my head to that theme all the way down. Yeah, I'm a sucker. I'm in. Thank you so much for the time. All the best success on the book and
Thank
everything coming in
you.
WWE this year. And I'll be keeping an eye out for the fantasy dive later on. I can't wait to see it. Thank
Thanks.
you so
We'll
much.
see if it happens. If I have the book written 10 years from now, your kid will be 14. She'll love it. Yeah.
Absolutely, be perfect timing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye. Thank you.